We're on air.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are going to talk about crowded cruise ships.
Ooh.
Not that we know anything about it after our last cruise, but before that we had lots of crowds. So let's discuss strategies and ideas about that.
Hi, we're Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Connects. Welcome to our Sunday Live.
Yeah, you don't catch us live, you can catch a replay. We have this on replay on YouTube till Sunday night, and then Monday morning it becomes our podcast on Banter Onboard.
Yeah.
And you can find that on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube podcasts. So either way, you can get your Cruising Connects fix. But today, everybody here live, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And we want to talk about, where are we going today with the too many passengers on cruise ships, which to me feels like a trend in the cruise industry, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So you're happy when you can find a ship that isn't like that.
Some people love the big mega ships. Everybody has their preference for what they think what is the perfect cruise ship for you. And our last recent couple of cruises, we had two different experiences when it came to crowds and how that looked on a ship, living on it for a week or so. So that's why we decided to pick this one for our topic this week. Is what is your strategy? Do you love being in the heart and the bustle of the crowds on a cruise ship and you just feel like you're at a party all the time, or are you constantly trying to escape to some quiet little spot on the ship like we tend to try to do?
For sure. Yeah. And just say cheers to everybody that's having a beverage during our live today.
Happy Sunday.
What are you drinking today?
It's just cranberry juice and lemonade.
No vodka in that.
It looks pretty, but it's just cranberry juice and lemonade.
This is peach flavored Crown Royal and a little ginger ale. This tastes just like Georgia. It's delicious. Mm-hmm.
You're going to say that every week, aren't you?
No, I didn't have it every week, though.
Oh, but every week since you've had it. So I don't know. Really good friends of ours gifted Mr. Canuck his first bottle of peach Crown Royal this past birthday. And since then, he's sort of been addicted to it. I literally was grocery shopping last week and I got a little message on the phone saying he was all out of peach crown, get some more. So he's finished off the bottle he received for his birthday and he's on to his second one. So it's a big hit for him.
It's delicious. Every time you take a sip, you can just kind of see the rolling hills of Augusta National.
He gets a little fixated on things, right?
It's interesting when we talk about big crowds. I was thinking that Bruno is a crowd of one in our house,
barking to join us.
Hi, Bruno. And maybe it depends on where you're from. Maybe people can answer this question because we really have a one-dimensional view as far as when it comes to where we live and our crowds every day. We live in a town of like around 100 people.
Yeah.
And so we don't see tons of people in crowds all the time. We don't have to wait to cross the street at the lights. We don't have to line up for anything. You just go there and you're usually the only one there.
Very true. So I guess, when we get on a cruise ship, we're actually moving into a big metropolis, in our opinion, since we come from such a small community. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that might be different. Maybe if you're used to the crowds, if you're from, say, New York City, Manhattan area,
or
maybe
Toronto,
maybe a cruise ship's just like any other day. I'm not sure.
It's true.
Yeah. So
perspective is a thing.
It is, for sure. So what do we have next? We have the Cruising Connects update. And the update is that if you saw yesterday, our first vlog came out of us traveling to the Volendam. So it was all the way from where we live right here, literally all the way to Montreal in the evening, a couple days later.
Now, we purposely extended it to make it sort of a longer trip and sort of create, the anticipation of the cruise. We could have easily have flown to Montreal or driven there. Driven there would have been 12 to 14 hours, I believe, right?
A little under, but yeah, close.
Anyways, but we sort of did a roundabout way to get there, but enjoyed ourselves along the way for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. 2 trains, 2 hotels, a long car drive. But yeah, it was well worth it. We got a chance to enjoy it all the way through. Yeah. So sometimes you just hop on a train and you're right there and the cruise is at the start of the holiday. Kind of felt like the start of the holiday was like, well, almost from leaving our house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was it'd be a lot of fun. First experience on a train. So, and so that came out yesterday. And I guess just a few days before that, since our last live, we also had the Volendam ship tour came out. We've had a lot of really good comments about that. So And someone even said, they want us to go back and do ship tours of all the ships we've been on and do the same type of format. So we've done some before in the past. We have a few more that are recorded that we haven't got out yet. So we have to do those.
Right.
Enchanted Princess is really close to coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting there. We have to squeeze them in between the vlogs and cruising.
And working.
Yeah. So, and this week, the updates for this week is by Tuesday or Wednesday sometime. We'll see. I'm really close to having day 1 embarkation Volendam. Just to warn you, it is a special episode, longer than normal. So we just couldn't squeeze it all in. Like usually our videos are 25 to 30 minutes. This one's running closer to 40 minutes.
It is.
But we don't know where to cut it because it was so much fun. We're just going to leave it all in and you can enjoy the whole thing. So
exactly.
That's the plan. If it's too long, let us know. If it's too short, let us know. We could have made it longer. I think we had like an hour and a half of good footage that day. Yeah, but it was a fun day. We didn't want to miss a thing for sure. So that'll, I think, definitely comes through in the vlog. Mm-hmm. So that's the plan this week. And then before we have the next live, you'll also be seeing day 2. So you're going to see 2 first days of Volendam cruise before we meet again for our live next Sunday, which is Father's Day.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And U.S. Open for the golf fans.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry might be too busy.
Watching golf. I can watch golf on the big screen as we're doing the live.
Oh, yeah. That won't be at all distracting.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
We have picture of the week. Let me see if I can bring that up.
So I just wanted to talk about the picture of the week before you show it. Oh, well, I guess too late. He showed it. So here's our picture of the week, and you're going to see that.
It's gone. Now they can't see it.
Well, I mean, we sort of mentioned it kind of a little bit about this beforehand, but one of the things that has sort of brought us the biggest blessing and surprise in doing this cruising channel is meeting so many wonderful people. And then fast forward that to the next level. We had a fabulous group cruise, and now members that were with us on the group cruise are meeting up on their own and have made lasting friendships. And that's just so it makes us feel so happy and proud that that's happening. So yeah, so this is a little Georgia meetup with a few of our fellow Canucklings that all got together. And so they sent us a picture of them having lunch together, and they had a lovely visit. And I just wanted to share that picture with them because it makes us so happy to see that.
And where else would travel enthusiasts go to meet up and have dinner but at an airport?
There you go.
So perfect setting.
Okay.
There we go. Yes. And we'll be seeing all these people in Alaska, actually.
Yeah.
And then again on our next group cruise.
That's right.
You want to talk about that one next?
Oh, our next group cruise?
Yeah.
Well, sure. So yeah, we are continually booking people on our next group cruise. If you don't know, it is on New Stondom, February 1st, 2025. It's a 7-day cruise in the Caribbean, leaving from Fort Lauderdale. And we still have some cabins available if you're interested and want to check it out and meet some wonderful people like we did on the last time.
Yes. And to book it, you have to get a hold of us because we're booking it as a group all together. So if you get a hold of us, then we can arrange the booking for you.
Mm-hmm.
So do that. So don't go book it on your own because we need to include everybody. Way Holland America runs their groups all as one. Right now is our group. I think we're at 61 people.
Yeah. We
might have 65 by the end of the week. We have a few more people that are kicking the tires kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a blast. And if we meet, and I'm sure we will, the same type of people we met on the first group cruise, it's going to make friendships for life, not only for us, but for everyone else, as Mrs. Canuck just pointed out.
Yeah. And so if you're wondering how many people are coming with us that are new, we have around 20 people that are joining us that was on our first group cruise, and around 40 people that have not been on a group cruise with us before. So if you're, intimidated that, hey, I haven't done it before, I don't know, there's lots of people that haven't, and we're getting to know them and can't wait to see them and meet them all in person.
We should probably tell them how they can find out more, though. You should go to cruisingcanucks.ca and you can find links there to be able to fill out a form and send it off to us to be able to figure out how to get it booked.
Mm-hmm.
Or just email us at Jill and Jerry at cruisingcanucks.ca and we'll send you the details. Either way works. So,
perfect.
So we're excited. We're seeing people book up, and we're starting to think about details like itineraries for excursions and dining and activities. So Mrs. Canuck's gonna have a busy late summer, fall getting all that figured out.
That's true. Once I sort of have final numbers, we'll decide on what size of excursions that we'll do and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that is that segment. We are done picture of the week, and we are on to your favorite part, which is trivia.
Oh my. Okay.
You ready for your trivia this week?
Sure.
Okay. So to ride on a train across Canada, you need to ride the Canadian, which is the most famous one that goes from Toronto to Vancouver. And then to do the rest of Canada, you also have to do Toronto to Montreal on Via Rail, which we just did for our video that came out yesterday.
Okay.
And the last leg of it is one called the Ocean Train, which runs from Montreal to Halifax.
Really?
So when you string all those together, that's how you get coast to coast riding in style across Canada on a train.
Are they all 3 different companies?
No.
Oh,
They're all the
okay.
same company. I believe it's all CP, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. And you can, different companies sell like them all as a bundle and stuff. I think CP might as well, but that is how it's broken down. Because what'll happen is you'll go from Halifax to Montreal. That'll be all on the train. And then there'll be usually an overnight or a stop in Montreal before you go to Toronto on a Via. And then there's kind of a stop again overnight. And then you get on the train and ride the whole way to Vancouver.
Wow.
That's how it works. Yeah.
And what's the question?
Oh, the question. There's no question there yet, is there? How many days do you think it takes to do all 3 legs and go all the way across Canada?
Ooh, so Peggy is saying 10. I see here. Wanda and Paul are saying 7. Sherry's saying 6.
Ooh, we don't have the right answer yet, though.
Oh, we don't? Oh, okay. How about 8 then? I'll go in at 8. No?
Nope.
Takes more than that?
This is like our Friday afternoon trivia with the patrons.
I don't have a clue. 11. Let's go with more.
Oh, we still got no right answers yet.
9.
Amazing. It is about 12,000 kilometers, if that helps you. Oh, I think we have a winner. Peggy got it right.
5 days? You can do that in 5 days?
5 days is how long.
Oh, wow.
If you add up all the hours it takes to hold the train. Now, it may take you longer if you have to do overnights and the trains don't go back to back to back.
Okay.
But it's 5 days of training.
Wow.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's a commitment to travel.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a comment on our YouTube channel today that somebody wanted us to do that. And I thought, I don't know. I loved the train ride, but it was 5.5 hours. 5 days is a different story.
Yeah, from Halifax to Montreal, it's about 23 hours. Then you got about a 5-hour train ride to Toronto. And then you have about a 95-hour train ride from Toronto to Vancouver. That's how it's broken down.
Really? Yeah. Oh, wow. Mm.
There you go.
Don't know.
Peggy hoo-hoo. She's looking for her prize.
Good job, Peggy. Wow. 5 days. I would have thought it would have been longer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'll move on to comments and questions of the week.
Do you get it? I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the train.
Okay.
I just want to think the only way I could see myself doing the train ride is if I get a cabin around the size I get on a cruise ship, but I don't. You get this little tiny berth that's like a bunk bed. Am I right?
Yeah, it's like a sitting area during the day and it turns into beds at night. Yes.
Oh, that sounds awful. Yeah, I don't know that I could do that all the way.
Yeah. I like cozy spots, so I think I'd be okay.
No. Sorry, guys. I don't think you'll see us vlogging that experience. No.
We will one day.
No, oh no. Mr. Canuck by himself, solo traveling, perhaps. I don't see that happening.
Mr. Canuck group train tour.
Train tour.
You not joining?
No, not joining. I'll do a group cruise while you do the group train. We'll see who has more people come with them.
Mm.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right.
Yep. Comments of the week. First one comes from Barbara, and she wants to know, does the Volendam do different cruises? This one's on her bucket list, and is it less money than larger ships? So she's referring to Volendam doing the Boston-Montreal run in the Maritimes, and how does it compare to other prices, and then what other cruises do they do? I can answer part if you can answer part.
Okay, go ahead.
As far as the Volendam, it started this spring. It'll be going through, I think, till the end of September, doing Montreal to Boston. It does a couple of variations that go to Newfoundland. I think even one might go to Iceland and back.
Greenland.
And so that's what it's doing right now. And then it's going to go back down to Florida in the fall and start doing a whole bunch of different runs. One of them is back and forth to Europe a couple times. Another one is what they call pole to pole. The Volendam is going to go from North Pole to South Pole in one big cruise. And then next year, I believe in June, it returns to do the same type of run, Boston to Montreal, with some longer ones in there, some 10 and 11 days in there.
Right.
Before it does the following year.
Right.
Around the world cruise it's doing after that.
Right.
So it definitely gets around.
It does.
Yes.
And when it comes to cost, we got a what we thought was a very decent, good price for it for the 7 days. But we did notice to book the exact same itinerary later in the summer, it's more expensive than doing it in May, which is why we went in May as opposed to June or July. It was more affordable in the sort of shoulder season of the run.
And I would say also that typically the older, smaller ships in most of the cruise lines are less expensive than the newer big ships.
True. Very true.
Which feels like a win to us.
Yeah, if you want to get on the brand new first ship that's just been out for the first 2 or 3 months, you're going to pay more than going on a ship that's 10, 12, 20 years old, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully we answered Barbara. The other question was from James and Kimmy Cat from California.
Oh gosh, I know what this one is without even seeing what you have.
No, you don't even know which one.
Oh no, it's different than what I'm thinking.
They want to know if you have to pay extra for the food and beverages, including the adult beverages, while traveling by train.
Oh, okay. So in business class, no, everything's all included. So everything that you saw in our vlog that we ate, we didn't pay a penny, and we didn't open our wallet the whole time we were on the train. Nope. It was all included. If you're in regular class, then you can purchase food throughout your voyage or your train ride. But yeah, business class,
good deal.
We thought it was very reasonable. It wasn't like, there's a giant jump from regular class on an airplane to business class. We've never been able to afford the difference going regular to business class flying. But from the train, it was reasonably priced, was what we said. And it cost us, we priced out flying to Montreal from Toronto, and it was within $5 to $10 difference. So we thought, well, let's do the train and have all the food included and, start our vacation early.
Be able to relax. Yeah. Not have to sit waiting for a plane to get in and out of the plane. Yeah. It was very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do it again for sure.
I thought you were going to ask about your comment in the Sky Dome video.
George Bell.
George Bell.
Yeah, I confused Kimmy Cat with George Bell.
Me too, Kimmy. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, just Google George Bell purple butt. You'll know what I was referring to.
Oh, man. You never know what he's going to come up with. You just don't. Mm-hmm.
Neither do I.
Maybe that could be an issue.
No filter, they call it.
Yeah.
And Lynn is asking... They're booked on Celebrity for a similar cruise in September, so similar as in maritime cruise we just did. Based on your experience, would you recommend booking excursions or getting off and walking around the ports?
All right. So I would say the one port that I would recommend booking an excursion is Sydney, just because Sydney's not that very large of a community, and you're in Cape Breton Island, you kind of want to see a part of Cape Breton Island. And so doing an excursion through the cruise ship, which is what we did, I think is the best way to sort of get the most out of your day. Not to say, like, if you just wanted to get off for a little while, they do have a nice little cruise port there. And while we were there, they had like a market set up, a craft market and all of that. Anyways, so you could do that. But the other ports, Quebec City, Montreal, Halifax, even Charlottetown, I would say, Bar Harbor, also all very walkable communities that you could get off and do your own thing, or get off and book a private thing. So like in Bar Harbor, for instance, they were selling tickets to go to Acadia, which was one of the excursions that you could have booked on the cruise ship. I'm not sure what the price difference was, but yeah.
All good answers.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want to add to that?
Well, I guess yes and no. Like, okay. I guess I always feel a little bit that I feel we bounce around with this too, is that really excursions and the money you pay for them versus exploring on your own, there's a ebb and flow. So some are better in some areas, some are better in others.
Yeah. I mean, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I didn't want to cut you off, but the one thing that we'll say is, like, when you're booking a group excursion through a cruise, for instance, you're getting on a big Greyhound bus, you're with a lot of people, unless they offer small group excursions, and some do. But for our experience in Sydney, we got on the bus and there were 2 seats left on the bus, even though we got on it 30 minutes before our departure time. And it was right at the back of the bus. We sat on top of the engines. The bathroom was right wedged up against us. So the actual bus ride was probably the worst experience of our cruise the whole week. We enjoyed once we got to where we were going and the port and that sort of thing. But yeah, you kind of lose some of the joy when you're being herded into a big bus too. So that's another
kind of doing the crowds thing, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, for example, we had good friends of ours, Paul and Wanda in Halifax, that we hopped in their private vehicle. They escorted us out to Peggy's Cove. We beat the buses out there and there was no crowds at all.
Yeah, we were so fortunate though. I mean, you don't have that everywhere. That was, I mean, out of all our cruise ports, that's the first time we've ever had that happen. But that was one of the highlights of our cruise, was getting to spend the day and see Halifax and Peggy's Cove that way, but doing it with with friends. That was just wonderful.
Paul and Wanda should start their own excursions up
They
here.
did, yeah, you should. Hey, you're retired now. What do you think? A little side business?
Congrats, Wanda. Since we saw you, you're retired now, right? Yeah.
Or within the days. If
really
not
close,
right now.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think you might have another week.
Oh. Where do we have next? Okay, so crowded cruise ships. Let's get to the meat of it finally.
Okay.
So we got some talking points here.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's see what you think.
All right.
So first of all, we talked a little bit of these. We've kind of hit on them all day today in the comments here and there. But the first one is like, if you want to avoid the crowds, first thing is do not cruise during peak season. I would argue that peak season is definitely Christmas and New Year's is very popular.
Yes.
Spring break coming out of Florida is very popular.
Yeah.
Alaska midsummer, very popular. Mediterranean midsummer, my goodness, very popular. I would say that if you try to catch what I call the shoulder seasons, so like at the beginning of a season, like say spring for Alaska, fall for Alaska, you take a risk. You're rolling the dice with weather, right? That's the issue with some places, like we found out in the Mediterranean last fall. So so going outside of peak season can definitely help reduce the crowds. It may not help you with the weather you want. That's
the problem, right? There's a reason why it's off peak season. Generally, you might be dealing with, not the best weather. Luckily for us on this Canada New England tour, we had amazing weather the whole time. But you think back to our Enchanted Princess in the Mediterranean, it was October, November, and because there was some weather in the Mediterranean there, we lost a couple ports of call, and everybody advised us that we should have never booked for October, November, that if we were going to do it, we should have done it in May. So, there is that too.
And I think a very smart strategy would be a lot of times the ships reposition to go to their popular, peak season places. So say you do like a transatlantic to Europe and then catch a cruise once you get there, that you're kind of catching the best of all the worlds. The transatlantics are usually a little less money, less crowded. And then you arrive in the season at the very start of the season, wherever they're going to, less crowded again. So it kind of can be a win-win booking that type of cruise.
That's true.
So that's one strategy.
So yeah, off peak season for sure. But know that with that, it's a little bit of a gamble. You might not have the best weather. You also, like we've done it sort of in the Caribbean through hurricane season. So if you're really invested in getting to a certain port, maybe not when you should do it because, obviously the cruise ship is going to divert away from wherever a hurricane is. So we've changed ports a few times because of bad weather that way.
I see the comment section that Wanda is saying that retirement is 12 days away.
12 days, Wanda.
Almost
Exciting.
there. Almost there.
12 more sleeps.
I don't know what I do at work if I only had 12 days left.
Nothing for the last 12 days. You just coast.
Wanda's not going to do that. She's hard working, Wanda. I know you are. So am I. And another consideration to have less crowds is, ta-da, the one we just made use of.
Opt for smaller ships. Consider cruising on smaller ships, which naturally have fewer passengers. Luxury and boutique cruise lines typically offer more intimate experiences. So
you kind of have to do a balancing in there too. If you want to go on a newer small ship, you're probably on more of the luxury cruises that are more expensive. But in our situation with Holland America, their smallest ship is their oldest, so it was actually not an expensive, and it was a premium cruise. It's definitely not luxury in the same world of like say Seabourn or Viking or something. But it was a really good deal.
Yeah, for sure.
And the next one is choose unconventional itineraries. So this is a big one too. We find that if you're going out of Florida on a 7-day, it's going to be busy. They almost all sell out these days with how busy cruising is. Even like 4 to 5 days, it gets really busy and also can kind of turn into a bit of a party cruise, that type of thing.
For sure.
But if you choose like a really bizarre, 12 or 11 day that's got a little more exotic and it's outside the normal 7-day run, that's an easy win right there. Like part of the reason we chose 10 days on our group cruise, we wanted to have that type of experience. However, our group cruise sold out. So
yeah, it did.
It's still sold out.
So I think cruising is just definitely getting more popular. But yeah, generally the longer the cruise, the less chance you have that it's going to be overly crowded.
Yeah, and the more exotic the itinerary, then again, the more chance it's not going to be sold out as well. So and it's funny because the exotic itinerary sometimes attract people, but at the same time, it's not as popular as the 7 days. Let's book a week vacation and go and have a good time on a cruise. So
right.
Yeah. And Another one, this is when it comes to dining, is to dine not at peak times. And we make use of this all the time for our meal strategies. Trust me.
We really do. I mean, a lot of you might see on the timestamp that Jerry will put on the vlog, on a C day, we're often having lunch at 11:30 in the morning, because we know if you're trying to get into the buffet at anywhere from 12 to 1:30, you're shoulder to shoulder. But if you get in there before peaked lunchtime, you'll be able to get in there and eat and not be crowded. Yeah.
And same thing with dinner. A lot of times, if you can hit buffet or even the dining room before that peak 6 to 6:30 time, even if it's just 5:30, you beat it by a half hour. If you can get your dining at that time, then you can beat the rush. Now with dining that you set dining times, you really don't have a choice of when you go there. But we still find, depends on the cruise, but usually the early dining's been quick for us, and then you still got the rest of the night to do something. Mm-hmm. I wish that the cruise lines would do something similar that we saw at the Embassy Suites in the elevator. Remember that?
In the elevator.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah. I do now. I'm like, what? They're serving food in the elevator?
You go in the elevator at the Embassy Suites in Montreal, and there's a sign in there, and it says that they have a breakfast buffet, and they tell you when it's open. But then they also have a color code saying how busy it is at these different times at the buffet.
So they have a green, yellow, and red code, and they had like an hour time in each one, which told you that it would be fast service. It would be, and then the orange was semi-busy, and then the red would be peak time, extremely busy, expect a wait, that sort of thing. So yeah, that was convenient.
Yeah, and if you're on like a non-MSC cruise where there's multiple options for lunch, like say there's a dive-in burger or there's a guy's burger or whatever, a lot of people don't realize that even if the buffet opens at like 11:30 or 12, those venues often open earlier than the buffet. And most people are thinking it's not really lunchtime yet. So if you hit like a dive-in burger or a guy's burger where there's usually long lineups, hit it at 11:30, it's not going to be nearly as bad as waiting until noon when everything else opens.
Sure. Yeah. Which works fine for us because we don't sleep in. Obviously, you're not going to want to have lunch at 11:30 if you sleep in till 10 o'clock or whatever. You're still in breakfast, just finished breakfast or something. But
Another dining strategy is to use room service. And we do this sometimes on excursion days.
Make use of the room service, take advantage of room service for some of the meals, especially breakfast, to avoid the crowds in dining rooms. So yeah, we did room service one time on this last cruise that we just got off of on the Volendam. And that was the day we were in Sydney, because we had a group excursion booked through Holland America. And so we knew we needed to be off the ship at a certain time. So we didn't want to have to worry about fighting through a buffet line. So we put out the little card out the night before and had our meal delivered to us while we were getting ready for the day. So that worked well. And
also we have family that their strategy is they usually book a balcony room, and they will just order room service breakfast so they can sit out in the balcony, enjoy their coffee and their breakfast. They don't have to fight through the crowd. So that's another version of, you can use, you don't have to be, if you're inside cabinet's a little bit different than the balcony. You're just sitting there watching the waves go by, or even watching the port if you pulled into port.
Yeah.
And you can have a nice breakfast and avoid all the craziness going on at the buffet that day.
Yeah, for sure.
And another strategy that we've used lots as well, and that is adults only area. And I would even extend this to be areas that are like paid specialty areas on the ship, like Holland America's Retreats or Princess's Sanctuary.
Right. On Carnival, they have I can't think of the name of it now. Oh my gosh, it's been too long.
It'll come to you. Carnival has the same type of thing.
They have an adults only area that is free to use, and the only rule is you have to be an adult to be able to go there. And that's one of the things that we loved about Carnival for years. You could be on a ship full of children, but they weren't in that area, so you had some adult space. So yeah, using that often helps you get away from crowds.
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of times with the crowds, it's a lot of kids and families and stuff. And usually people around with families, they're not at the adults only because they're with their children, and they're often just quieter areas in general. So right. Yeah, sometimes that's, and when you use the adults only area, our experience has been those areas in the morning are often less crowded and crazy than the afternoon. So a lot of times we'll go use an adults only area when we get up through till like lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, when it gets really busy there, then we'll go somewhere else in the ship, and we'll find something different to do and escape from the adults only area that gets busy as well.
Sure.
So yeah, and I guess in general, our strategy, when we get on the ship, what we like to do is we like to kind of get that vibe as to what's crazy busy and what's not. And then we kind of already know right off the bat where we want to kind of position ourselves. That's kind of how we found the secret area on Princess.
Bruce helped me out. It's Serenity. They seek the adults area.
You were close. It started with an S. You were almost there.
I know, but I knew I was wrong with it. Yeah. Kimmy Cat and James is saying, find the secret spot. That's our secret spot.
That's part of fighting the battles is find those spots. And sometimes you have to hunt around and look for them. We always did that for years on Carnival. Like we would walk around the pool deck and it'd be crazy around the main pool, as it can be on a Carnival ship. We go like one deck up, down a little bit, and also you'd find a whole bunch of loungers. Hardly anybody there. It's quieter. You can enjoy it, and you can get away from the crowds.
Right.
Yeah. And the next one is early morning or late night activities. So
participate in activities and visit popular spots like the pool, gym, and spa either early in the morning or late at night.
Now, in saying that, the gym is usually busiest in the early morning, so it probably wouldn't apply to the gym, I would say.
But you can go there in the evening. It's usually dead quiet if you're looking to do that.
Or middle of the day, often it's really quiet. And then with the spa, we often found that the spa can be quieter in the morning, busy in the afternoon.
Busier in the afternoon, yes.
A lot of things on port days are relying on, people go out and they're gone for all-day excursions for a big chunk of the day, that you can get a lot done on a ship early in the day.
Yeah.
Or what we've done also, we've got off the ship first thing in the morning. We go to port, we explore the port, we walk around, we're back on before lunchtime. Everyone else is still off on an excursion or off, and we've still got the ship to ourselves midday.
True.
So that's kind of a strategy. And another one is booking specialty dining. So obviously the specialty dining is not like the main dining room. It's typically less crowded.
Usually.
It costs money though.
It does. That's the downside.
And if you consider specialty dining to extend to those venues that maybe some are free or small upcharge, maybe there's options in there as well. I think of Princess with the pub and the pizza place. They don't have to be $50 a person specialty dining. There are options on ships where there's slightly more money, but not quite as crazy as some of them are.
Exactly.
And this one, we already talked about it today, but
when the ship is docked,
it becomes a sea day for you and there's nobody on the ship.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed that it doesn't matter how big the ship is, and we've done some fairly big ones, that even on port days, if you decide to stay aboard, it's amazing how much difference it makes. That all of a sudden the place is just cleared out. Loungers are available. There's no lineups. It's almost like being on a small ship.
For sure.
Yep. So those are our tips. And we'll go back to the comment section, see what else has any tips, or we'll see if we have any questions here that are popping up.
Well, here's Bruce and Tony's suggestion when we're trying to pick the correct ship.
Can you give me a time?
Oh, yeah, 2:51.
Okay.
Call Scott for recommendations on ship to passenger ratio. I love that one. Yeah.
Yes. I don't think Scott's here today, but yes, his spreadsheet would come in very handy.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll convince him to share that at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to get Scott on. We keep saying that. We're going to get him on for a live or for a whole video and talk about his spreadsheet and his strategies on cruise ships.
For sure. But yeah, that's a great idea because you're right. Some ships are sort of designed purposely to give passenger more space than others. So
I laugh. Kylie says that she lives in London, so she's always shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
But a bit of rain won't stop her as well.
She always cruise shoulders, the shoulder season. You're hun.
I'm making stuff up now,
yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Oh, she's also shoulder to shoulder in London.
She is. On the tube. I've always cruised this on the, I can't even say it now. We're a great bunch.
You always cruise shoulder season.
Yeah. Live in London. A bit of rain won't stop me.
There you go. Kylie can handle the crowds and the rain.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, let me see here. Let me go back to where we last left off here.
Caleb 253 says, I just got off the MSC Seashore. Embarkation day was a disaster and the service was horrible. Sorry, Caleb, that was our experience too.
Although our embarkation process was always good with MSC.
Yeah, but others have not
other people
had the
didn't. Same. But later in the day, as the day went on the ship, then it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Sherry wouldn't go on MSC either. Sherry also says she always gets breakfast in her room if she's having an excursion. So there's a shared strategy.
At 3:00, we've noticed. I'm sorry, I got a little pop-up screen. Come here.
Okay.
There we go. We've noticed better deals on specialty dining while on the ship instead of booking pre-cruise. There you go.
Yeah, a good example. The one that pops in my mind is Carnival Steakhouse. If you go on the first night, you also get a bottle of wine included, right? So there's perks and discounts, available when you're on the ship.
Yeah.
Lise says that Grandiosa in May was also awful. Never again. Buffet was Looney Tunes all day long. It's funny. We were at a friend's house last night, and I was saying, MSC? Nah, not sure. It's going to take a lot to get me back on one, that's for sure. Yeah. And I said it's probably more likely we'll be on a Carnival before running out of MSC.
And yet they had done an MSC before MSC had sort of come into America. And so it was solely a European line at that point. And they had a wonderful experience, over a decade ago. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sherry says she thinks May or September are good, and had problems in the Mediterranean in October and November, like we did as well.
Yeah, that's right. She was cruising the same time we were last fall.
And Sherry also says spring break in Florida or the Mediterranean in the summer, never.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're heading right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem for figuring out what spring break is, it seems to me, and I don't know if it's just my perception, but it seems to be that there's more weeks to it now than what it used to be. When we got off of our group cruise and we went on the MSC Seashore with our children for a family cruise, we couldn't get over how many children were on this cruise because it was like the middle of February. But that was spring break for some places in the US. Whereas, in Canada, spring break usually doesn't start until the middle of March and runs till Easter weekend type thing. So it seems to be a larger chunk of time these days.
Ruth says all the men would go. I think she's talking about
your train,
our group cruise on the train. Yeah,
there you go. And just the ladies can go on the group cruise, and you can do a train trip with all the men. That'd be fun.
If you want to see how many ships are in port, Bruce is reminding us cruisemapper.com is the one. I think that's the one we use as well for seeing how many ships are in port and what they are, what times they come and go. It's a good site for that for sure. We use that all the time.
248. Wanda and Paul's reminding us, please do give a thumbs up if you're watching and subscribe if you haven't already done that. We're getting close to that 10,000 mark of subscribers. So we're hoping to achieve that this summer.
Hopefully. It'd be nice in the weeks ahead where I think we're like 9,600 people, or like 400 or around there. Short.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be exciting to hit 10,000.
Maybe.
Yeah. And I saw another comment came in there. How do you check to find out how many ships are in port? Okay, I guess.
Oh, so there you go. You just answered it with Bruce's.
Right? Bruce somehow read his mind, unless I got it in the wrong order.
No, yeah, cruisemapper.com. That's the website.
For sure.
And it's a great one to have to know.
So I know it's hard to believe.
Yes.
But we are over our time again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the hours always just flies when we're talking to everybody about cruising. Yeah, we could talk about it for days.
Yes.
I'm sure our friends and family get tired of us talking about cruises.
For sure.
Possibly.
For sure, without a doubt.
But we love it. So, thank you everybody for joining us. Was there another one that came in?
Captain just said
we need guys
burgers on Princess.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, and Sherry's saying private schools have a more varied spring break than public. College different from younger grades, and it seems homeschool parents, they could take their kids whenever, for sure.
And thank you everybody for joining us today. We will be back next weekend on Father's Day.
We will.
I'm not sure what we're doing. I'll have to have an all man theme. You up for that?
That kind of scares me, doesn't it?
We'll talk about sports and golf and trains. Mrs. Connect won't be here next week. We'll see.
I was just going to say, maybe it'll just be Jerry by himself, guys. That'd be good. Maybe I get a week off because it's Father's Day.
If you have ideas for lives, definitely let us know. Email us, make a comment in the comment section. And we're always looking for new ideas. And and we love talking to you about everything to do with cruising, even travel. So have a good week, everybody.
Yes.
Hopefully you catch the vlogs that are coming out. See our first couple of days in the Volendam. And we will be talking all about it next weekend when we join you again.
All right.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.